Hello, welcome to my book talk on When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon, a New York Times bestseller that discusses the life of a young American woman whose family is from India who meets another young man who is also from India, and their parents attempt to set them up according to the matchmaking tradition of their culture. When Dimple Met Rishi is set in San Francisco, California. Dimple and Rishi get to know the city just as they get to know each other. And it is an excellent setting for the combination of their Indian and American cultures. Both Dimple Shah and Rishi Patel come from families who have immigrated from India and now live in America. Dimple is introduced to the reader in the context of her family. Her relationships with her parents, her aunt, and her cousin all play into who she is and show the significance of Indian culture in their lives. Leena is her mama, Vaija, her papa, Ritu auntie, her aunt, and Seema, a cousin. All of them show their love for her and concern in hoping that she will soon get married. Rishi Patel is also surrounded by his loving Indian family, Sunita, his ma, Kartik, his papa, and Ashish, his brother. And all of them are a key to who he is as an individual. Another character who comes into play is Celia Ramirez, a friend that they meet who gets to know their Indian culture along with a reader. While the story does an excellent job of introducing you to the characters Dimple and Rishi and their families, the key plot of this novel surrounds the Indian tradition of arranged marriage within the context of modern American culture. So the two families, originally from Mumbai, India, set out to arrange the marriage of their children amidst a modern American culture. Rishi willingly accepts his parents' decision for a compatible wife, but Dimple resists the match and desires to be an independent woman. Both learn and grow in this coming-of-age story about the value of family and the meeting of diverse cultures. The audience age level of this novel is approximately upper secondary, 11th and 12th grade. And the reason that I selected this area is because of some curse words within the novel, as well as some sexual references. There is also some upper level vocabulary mixed throughout the book, but overall it is quite readable. When looking at this story, according to Understanding by Design, there are many big ideas that jump out through themes and the content of the story. So I have selected just a few that jumped out to me, as well as some essential questions that could be addressed in a book unit on When Dimple Met Rishi. So the first big idea that I think is key to their characters is the idea of family culture. And what role does family culture play in the life of an individual? When you get into the novel, Dimple really needs to consider this as she makes decisions for herself that are nevertheless influenced by where she's coming from. Our next big idea is coming of age, and that goes along with that, in which Dimple is discovering how to become an adult through the decisions that she is making on her own. Another key theme within the novel is diversity. And so what it looks like to celebrate that diversity and respect different cultures is something that this book explores. In their interaction with other students, the characters Dimple and Rishi often struggle to communicate their backgrounds and to receive the respect that they deserve in having that, that incredible culture. Another big idea is female education. Dimple wants to pursue secondary education, and she's excited to become a programmer and coder. However, her family is hopeful that she will marry, and they sometimes struggle to see the value of her education. Another big idea is that of tradition and progress, and the conflict between them throughout the story is evident in Dimple's desire to push forward and pursue progress through her education, but then also the ties that Rishi especially feels towards the tradition of his family and culture. And so figuring out how that conflict should be approached and how each ideal holds value is something that this book addresses. And finally, the big idea of marriage and what it means to different cultures, as well as how what a good marriage looks like and how to achieve that is something that could be thought about after having read this novel. The 3 interactive activities that I have assembled for this book are first an individual project in which students can create a pamphlet or booklet on their family culture to reflect their own heritage or even just their family norms that set them apart. Second is an education timeline in which the class can mark the growth and changes in education rights from 1635 to the present. I chose 1635 because that was the first public school established, but this would also be an opportunity to see when women's rights to education are also significant. And third, I thought it would be neat to conclude a unit on this book with a world fair. You could split students into groups and they could research different cultures to celebrate diversity. There are several thematic elements in When Dimple Met Rishi that I saw would connect well with either of these books. First, Hidden Figures. Similarity between them is the women stepping forward in the STEM fields and having the courage to do so. Dimple desires to go into computer coding, and she really has the courage to push for that, even if her family is not fully on board with that. I Am Malala is a book that, of course, celebrates women's education and the right for women to pursue learning, but it also values family, and there is an emphasized family culture there, just as Dimple and Rishi so admire their own. And finally, I see connections with Jane Eyre and When Dimple Met Rishi because of the coming of age themes, the romance, and also the meeting of cultures that is evident in both novels. So each of these books contain elements that are in When Dimple Met Rishi, and it would be neat to celebrate education, to celebrate diverse cultures, and to enjoy the growth that can come from learning about different cultures. Thank you.